Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Whether you're in need of a website, domain or online store, make your next move with Squarespace. So it's now been about 3 months since I last feel like I've taken a proper photograph. And that's probably been the longest I've ever gone without making something. Of course, since I started making things, I didn't come out of the womb holding a camera, but it's been a long time. And normally, I'm an advocate for saying to not force it. Don't push yourself to make something if you don't feel like it, because you're not gonna make anything worthwhile. You need to be inspired to make something good. It's just never gonna be as good as if you felt really driven to do it. And also, it's probably just not gonna be as enjoyable, which at the end of the day is also important. But I feel like at this point, I kind of need to force myself to go and take some photographs. I think the main reason why it's been tricky is just the lack of external stimulation. Just missing out on like mundane daily tasks and conversations with friends, sitting on a train or a bus. The ideas I normally have for things spark from all these just kind of mundane, trivial things, which currently don't really exist. It's just video games and YouTube. For the first time like ever, I'm forcing myself to just take some photos for the sake of it. So I just downloaded the scans from the lab of the various rolls of film which I've ended up shooting. And I thought I'd just sit here and take you through some of them. So the first thing which I actually ended up shooting was a skateboarding photo. My friend Billy had convinced me that he'd found this epic street spot where he was going to roll in from this extreme height over an underpass. And he sent me a few photos of the location, and I kind of picked out how I thought might be best to shoot it. And what I ended up using was my A6500 with the 110mm to try and get this compressed telephoto look. And then stylistically, I also wanted to use a strobe, which is kind of an homage to great skateboarding magazines where that was just kind of the look back in the day. So I used a wireless flash, hoped that it would come out. It's not really something I'd ever done before, but I think it came out pretty cool. The one thing which I really want to change, and we're probably going to go reshoot to try and make it even better, is I just want him to be a little bit lower down the wall. It's such like a toss-up between wanting them at the highest point to exaggerate how high and potentially dangerous it is, but then it also doesn't look like he's fully in motion yet, or like actually riding down the thing. Yeah, I think it would have just come out a little bit better if he was just a little bit further down. But in terms of lighting and composition, I actually think it came out pretty cool. I actually took along a 35mm camera, a Leica, just to take some kind of alternate shots, just to see the difference between the two. And I have to say, the medium format really did this scene justice. It looks so much better in my opinion. So then the other photos I took were mainly with a Mamiya 7, because I'd had it cleaned up by Piero. I needed to make sure everything was still functional. So I decided to take it out for a little walk, kind of start working on a little series of images based upon things I'd just seen and little ideas I had floating around. And the kind of overarching motif that I had, the word I was using was portals. I wanted to capture things which had some sort of element that looked like you could go through them or disappear or looked otherworldly. And also like the idea of constructing things. And I think this all stems down to the idea of lockdown and being trapped inside, wanting to escape and building worlds for ourselves. So it's like a little play on a project I started before, which was all about folklore and kind of fairy tales, and it's just kind of playing into that. So I took 2 of the photos which I already had for that previous series, and I was just trying to build on it. I'm pretty happy with the kind of direction that it's all shaping up to take in. I used external lighting for a few of them just to try and really make it look otherworldly. I think that's when use of like external lighting is at its best, when you're placing emphasis on the kind of theme of the work. So if your theme is to make these kind of dreamlike photos, why not use lighting to make it look slightly unnatural? Because that kind of channels the whole idea. And then one of the photos I actually took with an RZ67, which was finishing off the roll of the skateboarding photos. And it was just this weird coincidence where for a while I've wanted to take a photo of me building like a little house out of sticks. I stumbled upon this scene of what to me looks like a stick church type thing, and I just couldn't believe it was real. I found it in the middle of the day, and I decided I was going to go back later at night to try and isolate it a bit more because the background was really intrusive. So my idea was to go back at dusk, where I could then use a big umbrella flash and softly light the foreground and the stick church, and then have the background kind of just fade away into nothing. And I think this one actually came out pretty cool. And actually, you can purchase a print of one of these images now as part of a charity print sale, where all of the proceeds are going towards the Black Lives Matter movement. So if you're interested in that, there's a bunch of other photographers involved as well. So if you're interested, click the link in the description. Go and buy yourself something nice, but also support a great cause. One thing, which hasn't been shared on the channel for quite a while, is any photo books. So here's one I picked up very recently. This is Girl Pictures by Justine Kurland. These images just scream nostalgia. It's like a 90s coming-of-age movie in photo format. And I really wasn't surprised to learn that Justine had studied under Crewdson, because there's actually quite a lot of similarities in their work. The images depict this crew of girls who have run away from society, and they're just really, really amazing. I'd definitely recommend picking up a copy. I think it really lends itself to the book format. When there's this kind of cinematic experience to the photos, it's really nice to experience that in book format. And I'm not sure if it's something that will come across truly in video. Experiencing like turning the page and going through this world that has been created as opposed to, say, watching a movie, it's just like a cool way of experiencing something. So I definitely recommend it. And finally, I'd like to thank Squarespace again for sponsoring this video. If you're looking to purchase a domain, maybe start a blog, a new website for your business or photography portfolio, or you want to start an online store, Squarespace is the perfect place to do so. There's an amazing variety of templates to get you started that look really great, and you definitely don't need any prior web building experience to get amazing professional results. And just in case you do come into any trouble, there's really amazing customer support. Having a website, whether it's for your photography or a business, is something which is pretty vital. It's a really important factor in coming across as someone who's professional and displaying your work in the best way possible. If you want to build a new website with Squarespace today, you can get 10% off your order using the code negativefeedback. So, what are you waiting for? Go and get yourself a lovely new website today. And that pretty much wraps this up. Next time, I think we're going to be shooting with a very weird setup. So, hopefully that entices you. See you then.